This is TWiT. Google is buying a New York City office building for $2.1 billion, just as everybody's headed home. I guess they're not heading home. Google must know something we don't know. They need office space. Do you know where this property is, Jeff?
It's on the west side next to the river, but I'm not sure. The story drove me nuts.
It's down kind of towards Canal Street on the west side, that little area where Penguin used to be. So it's maybe about a mile south of where the Chelsea headquarters is, the previous $2 billion building.
Didn't they buy a whole bunch of stuff at the Hudson Yards too? Didn't they buy it?
Facebook?
That's Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Oh, right.
Facebook.
Is it a new building? I mean, what are the trends?
This is a new building. It's being built.
This is a new one.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm curious what the office space trends are in New York. It had to have taken a big hit during the during 2020 and at least part of this year. I'm just wondering if it's underwater, what the overall.
Well, I mean, it's greatly reduced. I literally live across the street from where Facebook is now. And, I could look down to this giant room where they used to have, their, big meetings and, no one's there.
That's how you get your scoops. Now I know.
A pair of binoculars and a parabolic microphone.
A telescope can do wonders.
What do you mean? I have strong Wi-Fi,
Google says
it's also across the street from AOL. So
you're set.
Nothing you want to know about that.
No.
Yeah. But I think it's a long-term bet. It shows they think they're going to be around through all their history. Google has had difficulty getting real estate for people, who they have been hiring. And obviously at this moment, that's not a pressing need. They've got this giant headquarters that they've been building in Mountain View, which is going to take a longer to fill. But they have utter confidence that in a few years, they'll be in that situation again. And they can drop $2 billion on a building in New York City. And sometime during this decade, maybe not until 2026, 2027, they'll be saying, that building's packed. We need more space.
Yeah. Google also says they like to own the space because they like to reconfigure it as needed. In fact, remember the silly video that we showed of the inflatable privacy wall that took about half an hour to inflate? They're trying all sorts of things to see, what works. But I think this is interesting because I don't think employees agree with this, but a lot of companies still have this notion that you got to have employees in the office to collaborate, to work together, to crack the whip over. And employees are going, no. I think there's an interesting trend going on.
Absolutely.
A perfect example, there's 70 ships sitting outside of Long Beach right now that can't be unloaded because there are not enough longshoremen. They're not enough truck drivers. People are not going back to work. There's a strike in effect going on. They're saying we're not going to work in those crap jobs anymore. I don't know.
Well, and you laughed at me for reading the book The Box, which was all about how shipping changed. It's
70 container ships floating outside of Long Beach right now. It's crazy.
Which is why we can't get our toilet paper.
It's more pleasant to work in a Google office than to move big boxes around.
Well, that's true.
The downside of working in a Google office in California is a lot of people have to sit on a bus for an hour and a half, with using the Wi-Fi, to go back and forth. But in New York City, most of the Google employees are a relatively short subway ride away. So I think one of the problems filling that, it's actually kind of fun to work at Google if you don't have to handle a bad commute.